is something that I've been thinking a lot about over the last couple of weeks, and it's never really been the right opportunity to mention it, but the Ederson thing just shows me how far away we are from Manchester City, in that they signed Claudio Bravo for 30 million last season, and they just go, no, mistake, next.
Yeah.
And I don't, how much was Ederson, do you know?
I think he was was he 27?
Right.
He was
And
27
just, and when we talk about, me and Tom were talking about it this morning, we were talking about the spend of FSG and stuff like that, and I was saying, like, I think we're underinvested by comparison to our rivals, and this is one of the areas where it makes me go, of course we are. They spent 30 million on a frigging goalkeeper last year and went, okay, we'll cut our losses on him. We'll just get another guy. Who's next? And I think they found the guy in Ederson, to be honest with you. I think he's fucking brilliant.
He's been great.
And I think he's exactly the type of goalkeeper that they needed. Liverpool have spent, what was it, 6 or 8 million on Mignolet 5 years ago maybe, and 4 on Karius. And if that tells you that we're just on a completely different playing field to them, what if that doesn't tell you something, what does? Because that's not like a one-off. They spent 27 million pound on they've spent 57 million pounds on a keeper in keepers in 12-month period. 57. That's more than our transfer record, and they spent it on 2 goalkeepers.
One of which doesn't get in the team, and only makes the bench because he has to, kind of thing. He has to have a goalie on the bench.
And they spent how many millions on defenders and stuff like that, and we just can't compete on that level at the moment, can we?
We can't, and it's where you start getting worried as well, because I think it's that old thing of, like, we spend the most money on putting goals in the team. I know it's a cliche, and people get a bit paranoid because it ties into things like shirt sales and stuff as well, but it's just true. It's like you don't seem to put as much money into the defence. Certainly we don't, anyway. But when you look at City, they do. They treat that as that's a key position, so we're going to put X money into it. Same with I still don't think they've got it right. But when you look at the centre halves, season on season, they spent a lot of money on Otamendi the following season, and I don't know if it was the same year or the following year, Mangala. Year after Stones, they literally just keep replenishing
listen, Otamendi's been terrible for a few years. Mangala was bombed out. John Stones wasn't great, but clearly was a massive talent. It's the fact that they can just go, yeah, that didn't work. Let's go. Next one. And that's why it just seems like, the FSG talk is going to come to a head at some point. Yeah, People definitely. Are going to talk about it all you want. And I don't think FSG have been bad owners. I've gone out there and said it so many times. But I do feel like we're completely underinvested by comparison with your Manchester Cities, your Manchester United and stuff, because Klopp has to make every signing the right signing, whereas Manchester Cities and your Man Uniteds can go, yeah, all right, you didn't work, next toy. Let's do that. Which is why I think that it pains me, but why I think that ultimately the right call is holding on for Virgil van Dijk, because you can't afford to make a mistake. Manchester City could hold on for Van Dijk. Manchester City could buy Van Dijk and fuck him off if he doesn't work, and buy the next person up. And Klopp's in such a difficult position because he doesn't have that wiggle room.
He doesn't, and it's always going to be an issue for us until, if ever someone comes in and buys the club who's that cash rich. United are lucky because I know they've got wealthy owners and stuff, but theirs has come off the back of being really successful, and City's has come because of the owners. Same with Chelsea, and it's unfortunate, because I feel as if I was reading that John Norcroft article, and there's a good Benitez quote at the end of it where he says about the worst thing. Well, I say the worst thing. The most difficult thing about managing Liverpool is that the expectation is to win the league, and the reality is that you've got to try and make that shortfall up in terms of money. And he was saying that back 10, 15 years ago when he was managing the club, and it's always going to be an issue for us because we just haven't got those assets that we can use. And I don't know, it was probably less of an issue 10 years ago because we had people like Gerrard, we bought Torres, you know what I mean, kind of thing, and having people like that, having people like Carragher who come through the academy and he wasn't world class, but he brought so much more to the team that wasn't necessarily just his footballing ability. You don't get that constantly. Barcelona, they're the exception. They've had it for years, but it's so difficult to do, and I don't really know what the solution is because it's like you say, I can't really fault FSG in terms of what they've done for the club. They've done a lot of things right. They've done a lot of things wrong as well. I don't think anyone ever really is hidden from that, but I can't pick them kind of thing for not having the money to invest. But the truth is that we haven't had the right investment really, have we? We need considering the size of the club and the fan base, it's got, you know, worldwide the support it's had. We've seen how big that was in Germany over the summer, and the manager we've got as well, how revered he is in football around the world. And not having that is such a loss, because we need that, you know. And the only thing I think maybe tying into it is the thing about the Kirby redevelopment. You know, maybe that's the way they're trying to do it to get it in, but the point is that's 5 years down the line. Yeah. How much further ahead of those teams, as you've said?
But that's kind of where I was driving at, to be honest with you, is because if you know you can't afford to go with Manchester Cities and your Chelseas and your Manchester Uniteds of this world, you've got to find another way to win. And I think, and I mentioned this on the podcast earlier today, apologies for repeating myself, the only way that you're going to be able to do that is to formulate a friggin' good plan and stick by it. And that plan is Jurgen Klopp and Jurgen Klopp's philosophy of football, and give him the full term of his contract to try and win the league. Because Chelsea make it work by changing managers, and the only team across sports, by the way, that consistently win trophies by changing their manager, as far as I can think anyway, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's because of the money. It's not because of anything else. It's purely because of the money that they've got. Manchester City had money for a long time. They've not dominated this league, but now they've got the best coach and some of the best players, and they're still consistently spending money. The only way we're going to do it is to put our trust in one man and say, you've got to build this club up yourself. You know the limitations financially, and you've got to get it working. And 5 years is everything. And support for that, and I think if support is understood, that they can look back and go, right, we can't compete on the financial basis, so how else are we going to win this? You can't change Klopp now, for example, and hope that somebody else can do it.
No, because that's
in a year. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
It isn't, and you know the thing is actually as well, and it's weird actually, you phrased it that way because it's made me think of something else. Off the back of all the Shankly stuff last week, you know, discussing how you know, Shankly's birthday and stuff, and since he passed away and that, you've got to look at, I think when you look at his record, the mad thing about his record is it's so spotty up until he wins that first league, and even that takes him 5-6 years. And you know, it was, you know, everyone knows the quotes from him. You know, Anfield was one of the biggest toilets in the city and stuff, and you know, it took him that long to put things in, but he made things happen. And I think Klopp's done that. He's come in and gone. You know, how many managers have we had prior to him who've said, you know, it's a bit weird that you have Melwood here and the academy there and all that, and they've gone, oh, we've invested so much money and blah 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 blah. He's come in and just said, no, I want it moving. You know what I mean? He's starting to do these things, which is great, but it took Shankly that long to do that. And the lasting legacy of that was that, you know, I know obviously change of management, but 5 years later, Paisley comes in or whatever, and we go on that mad run for years and years and years. And that's the type of thing that we're trying to get. And I think actually weirdly, I know we mentioned City a lot because obviously, you know, because them being in the league with us and stuff, and you know, being kind of rivals in terms of, you know, the way they play footy. I think the thing you've got to think about City as well is they are almost actually slightly outside that as well, because you know, I think we've both seen firsthand, and we've been around the area, like how much they've put into the area. It's not just the fact that they've invested into the team, it's the whole facilities around.
The training complex is the best in Europe almost now, and people want to play there because they want to train in those facilities every day and stuff as well.
It's just unreal, and that's the package we need to offer. And I think we are, you know, if you look at the culture he's come from, Klopp, in terms of like having Wagner as his assistant, and look what he's doing at Huddersfield, that's the type of thing I think he's trying to replicate, where it's, you're not just coming in to Liverpool to beat Liverpool and playing the first team and win the league. You're coming in at youth level thinking, right, they're the team who are going to make me a professional footballer kind of thing. And we're starting to see it with the academy, how he's selling people, but it's difficult, and it's annoying. It's so annoying, I think, as just you know, for me and you doing things like this, but also just in general as a fan, because I think I completely get people who hate the ownership for the things like the underinvestment, but it's like, it's one of them things, isn't it? It's like they just can't suddenly just, you know, instantly have all this money